Hey guys, I want to talk a little bit today about the post-relationship dips and the dry spells and these periods in your time when you are experiencing loneliness and you have this sort of void in your life. I think all of us as guys, you've probably been through some measure of this. If you've had some high times with women in your life, there oftentimes for a lot of us and a lot of our relationships, there will come a point when things come to an end for whatever reason, and it can be hard, of course, if you really cared about somebody, you really plugged into them, and you didn't want it to end, maybe, or things just went sideways and they ended. Those things happen. That has a way of putting us all into this deep, 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 dark pit of despair, and that can drive a lot of times the dry spell that you're going to experience after a situation like that goes down in your life, or even dry spells, of course, like come about as a result of other things that are happening in our lives. Maybe you're at a period of time where you're really grinding through something. You're really working hard on your school and your career pursuits, on your any number of things that you do in your outside realm of your life that's outside the women and outside the dating and outside all the relationships and all this kind of stuff. And I wanted to talk with you guys a little bit today, just to, just kind of to point this out and to get you to think about this phase that you might go through and reflect. But I also want to equip you guys with a few pieces of things that I've been able to implore in my life, and that will hopefully help you guys out if you're going through something like this right now. So, by the way, I've started to get some fantastic engagement on the channel, and I appreciate every single one of you guys and girls that's tuned in. And I especially appreciate you guys and girls that have commented and left some things for me to think about, and just looking for some advice or looking for whatever I have to tell you. I'm super happy to do that, and I appreciate you guys so much. So this one, if you're listening out there, Diego, this one is for you. You had written a couple days ago, at the point in time where I'm reading this, just about how you have been frustrated and you're not spending a lot of time in bars and clubs right now. You got to go to sleep early. You don't do the dating app stuff, and taking time in your life to soul search and grow other areas out of your life, until this time when the next woman comes along. And like, you pretty much hit the nail on the head, and you write with those few words. You might not have realized it, but that's basically the encapsulation of what I'm about to tell you here. And that's the equipping, or the mechanisms, let's say, that I want to share with you guys to implore these points in times when you're feeling that dry spell. You're just coming out of a breakup. You don't have your head straight. You just like, you're emotionally, mentally, just kind of, you're all screwed up on the inside. Okay, like that's okay, guys. Like, first of all, like, we all go through those things. That's a very human thing, and don't let anybody fool you or try to like make you feel bad about going through those sorts of things in your life. Like, that's a normal thing. Okay, you're not a robot. You don't have to bounce back the very next day and just be, like it never happened. Okay, that's the most like ridiculous thing in the world. It's so funny the way that society, I think, in general, tries to act as if, like, men shouldn't go through these things. And like, yes, there's a certain way to carry yourself as a male. And like, yes, you've got to pick your balls up and your nuts up and keep moving on and keep going forward in life. Yes, that's obvious, but it's okay to take a little time to cope. It's okay to have a little bit of this dry spell. It's okay to have this void of time in your life. I mean, you're going to. That's just a fact of the matter. But all that aside, what I want to tell you guys is, first and foremost, and I don't think most of you guys that listen to this channel are probably like out there doing this stuff, but the very first thing is, yes, in a period of time in your life where you have this void, a lot of times there can be a temptation to fill it with unhealthy things. Like, you could start drinking a lot, you could start doing drugs, you could start doing hazardous things, the hazardous behaviors, like getting yourself into trouble, like all sorts of things in the name of just getting your mind off, like this chick or this relationship or the loneliness, even just in general. And of course, it goes without saying, guys, I mean, I don't really have to spell that out and explain like why that's bad, but I mean, just don't fall into that trap. It's okay to like lick your wounds a little bit and have a night or two here or there where maybe you indulge in some things that make you feel a little bit better, but just don't allow yourself to go down that track and get so hyper wrapped up in those things that like furthers your decline, that furthers your plummet. And I've to piggyback onto that concept, one of the things that I've been most proud of in my life, and this is my sincere hope for every one of you guys and girls out there that listens, that goes through something like this, is every negative thing that happens to you in your life, I want you guys to start looking at that as fuel. Like, use that and look at it like a springboard, like a launch pad for you to like translate the negative into something very positive. And I'm going to outline in detail that in the next phase of what I'm about to talk with you guys about here, and lay it out. And just the positive that can come out of a negative situation like this. I mean, think of it in the sense of like, let's say you did have a steady girlfriend. You were occupied half of the nights of your week just spending time with her and doing things with her and all this kind of stuff. Well, suddenly, yes, you have this vacuum void, this time of space, where she's absent now. And all of a sudden, you got all the time in the world on your hands. Well, like I said, instead of doing stupid, dumb shit, the drugs, the drinking, the getting in trouble, all this kind of stuff, use that time to make yourself better. Use that time to really focus on your purpose. Okay, and that's probably the biggest one that I can tell you guys is to like try to insert like your purpose on this earth, whatever that is, into that void space, into that space where you might otherwise be lonely, or you might otherwise just feel like you don't have much that you have to do right now, because normally I'd be hanging with my girl, whatever, but like take that very valuable time. Don't squander it and put it into your purpose, okay? What is your purpose on this earth, guys? Were you put here to do a certain type of career? Were you put here to create something for the world? Were you here to make humanity better? Were you here to help somebody around you? Were you here to make, just your general space and society and the people you come in contact with better in some way, shape, or form? Like, what is your purpose? I think, hopefully each and every one of you has like something deep down inside of you that you can pull out and you can identify and you can apply yourself towards. And this is those times in your life, guys, where you're going to make like leaps and bounds advancement on those elements and those realms of your life. Ironically enough, like out of the quote unquote negative of breaking up with somebody or not having anybody to go on a date with, it's like you can take that time and make something amazing out of yourself, or make something amazing in this space where there was nothing, before that. So that's the first and foremost. That's probably the biggest thing that I can recommend to you guys that you should work on and that can help you through this sort of time period as you're going through these sorts of things, is like working on your purpose, focusing on your purpose. I mean, that should always be like, women come and go, friends come and go, relationships come and go, whatever it is, but like still your purpose needs to be at the core of your existence. And that's my belief about the way to go through this life. And that's even more paramount, I feel like, in a lot of senses than just any sort of relationship you're going to get yourself into. But aside from that, guys, the other ones that are always big on top of the purpose stuff, that right immediately down the line from those is your health, your wealth, and your socials. Okay, do some sort of work on all those things. Okay, can you start eating better? Can you go on a diet? Can you lose a little bit of weight? Can you get your ass in the gym regularly? Can you go out for a run every other day? Can you do anything, even like meditation or just things that clear your mind, or even mind health? Go for a hike, go somewhere off in an alone space where you can be alone with your thoughts and your inner being, and listen to your soul and do some of this sorts of stuff. Like focus on your health. Your wealth, of course, like, yeah, that could fall in line with your purpose, but like maybe you can pick up some extra shifts at work. Maybe you can start a little side business. Maybe you can start a little side hustle. There's always ways to like enhance your financial worth and your value and all those sorts of stuff in this regard. And there's, once again, this is a great time to focus some energies and efforts into doing just that. Okay. And the last one is just work on your social self, work on your social circle, work on going out and reconnecting with some of those friends that, might have fallen by the wayside, like, because this happens to all of us, of course, to some extent. You get yourself into a relationship, you start dating somebody, you kind of, a lot of folks have a way of growing away from their friend groups, and it's like, go reconnect with those people. If they're really good, solid people that care about you, they're good friends, like they're going to be happy to hear from you. But yeah, try to get out and do some of that fun stuff that you enjoy. I mean, if you like going to a comedy club, if you do like going out, to a dance club, if you do like going out and doing some other sort of socializing, whatever it is, try to get out, get yourself out to do those things. The culmination and the combination of bits and pieces of all those sorts of things will certainly contribute to getting you through these rough times. And I've always kind of thought to myself, like just personally from my life experience, and those times when I came out of like a real, more like serious relationship, like let's say I've been in a couple like longer term, like several year relationships. Of course, like in those time phases when I got out of those relationships, like yes, I was generally the most down and I was the most lonely, certainly at that point in time in my life. But the irony when every single one of those situations presented themselves is like out of that, I made tremendous advancements like in my career and like everything else that I was doing in my life. It was such an ironic thing that it's like, here you've got this thing on the front end that seems like a negative and seems crappy and shitty and it's not fun to go through. But then you look back a year later or something, or whatever the time is, and you're like, damn, I'm glad I didn't squander that time. I actually, I was able to pull myself together and I was able to make something happen like completely outside and free of dating. Like that stuff, you'll get back to that. But, and it's okay to like take a break from dating after those periods of life that you might be going through something like this. Like, give yourself as much time as you need, really. Okay. There's nothing that says that you got to rush back out there the next day and like jump back into the game and do all this kind of stuff. Like, just try to implore a little bit of the stuff that I'm talking about, guys. Try to focus on you. Like, don't feel like you got to run out the very next day and make it about meeting somebody else. Okay. This other stuff is going to build you up from the inside out, from the core level, that when you take some time, you do these things that I'm telling you about, the purpose, the health, the wealth, and the socials, you build all that stuff up, you're going to come back even stronger into the game. And like the next time you're back out there and you're in the right mindset and the right mind space and you're feeling good, I mean, you're going to be killing it. You're going to land a girl that's like 1,000 times better, most likely, than that last one that didn't work out, or all those hundreds that you might have done the cold approaches with that, contributed to this dry spell that you're on at this point in time. Like you're a better version of yourself. You've got more to pitch to the world, and you're going to attract more people in general when you do those things. Okay, when you build yourself up in that regard. Okay. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope you're having a wonderful day. We'll talk to you real soon.